we are again, back in Heaven's Vault. Episode 9, I think. The story so far. Alaya and Six have been looking for the mysterious roboticist Janiki Rembar, sent by Professor Miari to uncover the cause of the fall of Iox, which she believes is soon to return. But ancient memories found inside a robot led Rembar to a different discovery, an ancient observatory, the Vault, which Rembar believes could save the nebula from darkness. But why had Rembar been hiring labourers to dig something up on Elbereth? Perhaps other ancient sites, like the mysterious Withering Palace mentioned by an ancient recording, will yield more clues. And that's roughly where we are. We are currently, I think, on Elbereth, which is Alaya's home town. We got inside the walls to the city, the city proper, I guess, the kind of richer part of the city. And we spoke to Tappy and Oroi. Tappy, I think, picked our pocket and then gave it back to us, and then told us about stuff. Let's go in. Let's go in. My notes are barely notes. This is where we are, Elbereth. Let's bring up the old... my friend, the mechanicist, Orion. Yes, Orion Tappy. The source of the hardbound book. I'd love to know why Janiki Rembar was hiring Elberethian labourers. If we visit the woman who runs the market in the cat kiss, I might be able to find out. Yes, I think that's the end of the last episode. I think that's where we were sort of thinking. We spoke to the woman who runs the market, the slave trader, towards the kind of beginning part of town, who was quite an uncomfortable chat. But I think we're going to have to chat to her because I think Janiki Rembar hired people for his dig site. I've kind of lost track a little bit of everything that's going on. You'll have to forgive me. But if we go to like now, so we gave the book to Tathy, swapped for a sculpture. Did he tell us stuff? Towards the temple gods will go. That's written on the statue. We don't know all of this for sure. We know quite a lot of it though. It's been a few days since my last recording, so I'm going to... I think my recordings for the next significant number of episodes are going to be quite close together because actually I have to pre-record quite a lot because I'm not going to be here. So I'm going to try not to leave you high and dry. So I've got to pre-record quite a few. So I'm going to be doing quite a lot back to back, which should be good for memory. Which is useful for this game because it's quite dense in its lore and quite tricky in its how do I search through all the lore. All right, let's stick to Elbereth. Let's not get ourselves too bogged down because I think the game will help us. I think we've said all we need to say to Tappy and all we need to say to Orion. We could strike again, but well, let's find out what happens. I don't know if we're going to get much conversation out of Orion. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's head back to the slave trader. See if she can give us any clues as to what Rembar was up to. I'm not quite sure I remember exactly the deal with Rembar and digging in Elbereth, other than he and the thing Rembar discovered, the temple thing he discovered. I've already forgotten. I just read through the story so far, which included that paragraph that we've seen several times. Shall we leave now, mistress? No, still more to do, but thanks. I know I get a bit annoyed at Six asking, shall we leave now, mistress? But I do understand within the game mechanics that he's basically giving you an opportunity to go back to the ship whenever one presents itself. It's not he's not actually nagging, although it blends well with his personality that he would be nagging. But I am just aware that's how you get back to the ship. What's a Rebscore foil? You've never seen the internals of a robot, then? Well, I have, but it wasn't labelled. Oh my. A Rebsky foil is a small scrap of metal inscribed with enormous detail, like one of your fingerprints. Reply. Oh, I've never seen a Rebsky foil then. Nonetheless, you are conversing with one at the moment. Great. Oh, I don't know if I want to go back to Tappy's, but I think Tappy's is on the way. Question. Were the statue on Mercy and the one here made in the same place? Based on their mineral compositions, it's quite possible, mistress. I will consider the matter. Right, here we are. Carving of a deity colossi. Similarity in stone and carving style suggests all stone statues we've seen were quarried and carved in a single spot. Now I'm back to like, what stone statues are you talking about? My first thought was, do you mean the stone statues that are like the graveyard statues that we've been kind of reading the engravings of, where there were loads of them in the garden? But then colossi suggests absolutely massive thing, like the giant feet at the base of Embereth. But I don't think we've seen lots of those. I'm going to go with the ones that we've been seeing a lot of and just questioning this. You'd have to forgive me if I'm not necessarily piecing everything together correctly. Return to the yard or to the market. Well, she's in the market. What's the yard? That's where... What was the city built to be? Reply. No one knows. Not a lot of people think about the past. I'm going to go this way, just because we came from the other way. But I feel like she's at the market. This doesn't seem right, does it? Oh, maybe. And then she's through here. Okay, I think we went the long way round. I've never been here before. We know. Reply. You're gonna love it. I do not think I like it. I feel like we're going in circles, but we'll figure it out. There she is. Good faith to you. Farwet. Walk with the goddess. Or die on Iox, I don't care. Wait. Doesn't matter how often I come back here. Once you've left, no one allows you to return. Alright, you, slave trader person. I can't remember what voice I gave you. Yes? I told you I wanted to ask about a man named Rembar. I don't talk about my customers. Ah, so Rembar was a customer. If he was, I wouldn't talk about him. You're not going to help me. If you're looking for a worker, I will. But you'd better bring him back fit to work, unlike your friend Rembar. Yeah, I want to talk to the man Rembar brought back. You want to hire one of my stock? I just want to talk to him. I think we're going to have to hire him. Then you can pay a fair rate. If that's to dig your plot or to whisper you through the night, that's your affair. Just don't break his leg. Alright, what's the labourer's name? Whatever you like. Listen, Salwa. Your Ioxian friend shattered my man's arm bone into 100 bits. The bits are swimming around inside his skin like hungry little maggots. He's never going to work again. Like his leather, you're the last chance he's got to earn himself a meal. So pay your dues. Then let him go. I think I'm going to have to pay for him at some point, but I'm going to... He's not worth anything to you. I'll make you a deal. You take him off my hands. For nothing. And you look after him. Where are you going? Get out here. Get out here. I don't know why I suddenly made a London. I know miracles happen. What time is it? Greet your buyer. How does his arm look? Mistress, please. Good faith and greetings to you, Micus. My name is Elia. I am Yasi, Miss Mikis. Thank you. What does Micus mean, Yasi? I just want to ask you a question, then you can go. Go where, Micus? I do not think anyone will hire me as I am now. You were hired by a man from Iox. Janiki Remba. You have it right. The Micus' name was Remba. Where were you digging? Somewhere in Elbereth? No. Away. Alright, well, away where? We sailed to a moon. Elbereth was visible in its skies. There was nothing there, but he made us dig. We found something. Can you find Rembar's moon again? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so, yeah. But not on a map. I'll need to fly with you. You can point it out to 6. I cannot. I only saw glimpses of the clouds where we worked. I don't know if I want to know the answer, but... How did you break your arm? We were using a winch to raise up broken rock. The winch had been strung together from a few old poles. A big hook someone found. There was too much rock. The old thing keeled over sideways. I jumped out of the way, not far enough. What were you digging that needed a winch? A hole, mistress. A very deep hole indeed. One more question, then I'm going to take him with us. What was Rembar looking for? What did he find? Do you know? Okay, his arm is far. I do not know. I was hurt before he found anything. Alright. Let's go back to the ship. Let's go back to the ship. I feel like I should be writing stuff down, but it all happens too quickly for me to make notes. We can talk there. Shall we leave now, mistress? Let's get out of here. We got this. Leave the moon. Come on, person whose name I've forgotten. And so we left the surface of Elbereth. Okay, let's go here. Whee! Damn it. I thought we might have the guy's name. Okay. Cup. I will say I've lost track mentally of a lot of the stuff that we've been sort of finding and how it's all connected. When did we find this? Rembar's cache. Up here. And then Rembar's cache is different. The Hideout Moon was, I think, the place with the graveyard and not the graveyard, but the grave and the irrigation and the guy who was living in the living room. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. I'm struggling to keep it all together, but I'll do my best. On top of the language thing. Back on the Nightingale? Yazi. Yazi claims he can find his way back to the moon where Rembar was working. It's a couple of things. So, I've not quite... I'm struggling a little bit to keep hold of the plot. Hopefully, you're finding it a little easier than I am. I think maybe I don't have to think about the details as much as I'm worrying I do. Rembar's gone, and we do have that little summary at the beginning of every episode, which is good. I think Rembar went missing. Rembar found something that would relate to the fall of Iox. He hired this guy to help him with it. There's a mystery there. He's been leaving stuff around. He maybe spoke to us through a kind of weird robot in a strange realm. We had that. There's a lot of evidence that he's still alive and has discovered something big that may change the way we understand the fall of Iox or the loop. And that's generally where we are with that. I think maybe it's not quite as any much more complicated than that. We're just kind of chasing him down, following clues. Iox seems to have assumed he's dead, or at least find it easier to assume he's dead. So let's just assume the main plot is us trying to figure out what Rembar was up to, and that we haven't actually found too much information yet, just little bits. The secondary layer of this, or maybe the primary layer, whichever, but like a parallel layer of this game is the deciphering of the language. And I haven't quite worked out how those two connect. Sometimes the language stuff helps us narrow in on areas of the map to focus in on, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure yet how it's all connecting to each other, but I'm enjoying like both things happening. Okay, you sure you can find this moon, Yahtzee? We're gonna call him Yazzie or Yahtzee? I think Yazzie's probably better. Quite certain. I could find the place where the Axonian was working, Merkis. Without me, I do not think you'd ever find it. Alright, well, what makes it so hard to find? Oh, it's hard switching between their voices. It's a rock. In a sea of rocks. But I know which rock. Why are you helping me? You see through me, of course. Please understand. I was strong. Very strong. Now, no one will ever hurry me again. I want to work. He's going Irish. Look, I don't have work for you, Yahtzee. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't. barely have work for me. You do today. We will see about tomorrow when it comes. I'm just going to make a note here of Yahtzee's voice for future episodes when I've forgotten. Alright, lead the way. I don't know if I want to go to Iox. I want to go to this moon. I don't think I want to like take him back to the Ioxians. Okay. Yeah, Rembar's dig site. That's what he knows. Let's go there. Yahtzee's leading us to a moon near the Elbereth Wash. Seems Rembar went there following some sort of lead from a robot. He digging using labourers hired from Citadel's market. What could he possibly have found this close to the spiral? Professor Miari thinks it might be connected to the fall of Iox. I can't see how. I could go looking for this site now. And off we go. Off we go. Let's find out what he was digging up. Maybe it'll still be there. Seems unlikely. Right. Sailing to Rembar's dig site. 3 of us on the ship now. Will Yahtzee be with us for long? Either route ahead leads to our destination, mistress. We're going this way, I guess. Yeah, I don't care. So, do all Ioxians get given... robots, Mykis? Are they attached to you as children, perhaps? I'm not from Iox. I'm from Elbereth. Didn't really answer his question, did it? But good to be honest about ourselves. Yes, Mykis, of course. My mistake. Still don't understand what the sweep cell does. The river to the left should bring us to Rembar's dig site, mistress. Oh yeah, we're here already. That was easy. I think Rembar's dig site is close at hand. I've made him Irish. He didn't start Irish. Okay, well, where is it? Is it that green thing? There's something up ahead. Let's bring her into land, 6. My voice game is weak today. I have barely been deviating from my own voice. That's fine though, as long as you know who I'm talking about. And as I've said before, when you're doing the boat bits, it's hard to tell who's talking until you've got almost a full sentence to give you context. Okay, we're at the moon. The moon Yahtzee led us to seems desolate enough. No, that is not Elia's voice.
We trudged across the surface of a tiny moon. Nothing but dust and towering stone.
This is the place. This is it, Mykis. It is quite remarkable, mistress. This place is actually worse than Elbereth. Much worse, Miyameki. Miyameki means like robot. Question. But why did Rembar dig here, Yahtzee? There can't be anything to find. No one's ever lived here. There is no organic matter in the soil, mistress. I would suggest this moon has always been as you see it now. I do not know what he was looking for. I only know that he found it and he left. Just mountains of sand. Question. What would Rembar be looking for out here? There's nothing. Well, here's stuff. Nothing we can see, certainly. What's this thing, Yahtzee? For a lifting. This is how we ran the winch. Alright, how does it work? 3 workers wind it up. There's a rope attached to the cart, filled with rocks. The cart comes up the tracks. Then you let the cart go. Okay. So the tracks lead to the dig. Oh, off she goes. Of her own accord. Made for a cart, I suppose. Someone was building something. Are you not exactly, Micus? No? Not for robots. He wouldn't use robots. Alright, question. Yeah, no way through this way. That's me speaking. When the work was too slow, Rembar used explosives. He didn't seem to know what he was doing. Yeah, this way, Micus. Follow me. Alright. Oh, slow down! Mistress, I must warn you, I do not trust him. I do not believe he is being honest with you. Well, I suspect there is something here of value he wishes to retrieve. What's that?
There were tents, carts, ropes and platforms. Rembar must have had an army working here. And yet he had left it all behind. Just like that.
Here's what we did for him, Micus. The pit we dug is within. And it is deep. There must be some pit. Right, question. Rembar wasn't digging for his observatory, was he? I did not think you could bury an observatory, mistress. Question. Depends on what you're observing, doesn't it? Perhaps the ancients were observing worms, mistress. Question. So all this was built before Rembar went to Mercy. Rembar must have found something here. Something that led him into the cyclones. The robe and the brooch, perhaps? Right, I just want to... What are we looking at here? I can't walk off this platform, obviously. That would be crazy. Why would I ever do that? What just appeared on my thing? Sorry. Okay, found room. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's go to just updated. So Janika Rembar hires labourers. 50 to 70 days ago. Yahtzee is injured like 3/4 of the way through. Yeah, we got all of that shit. Great. Exit. There's the cart. For transporting rubble. We dug deep into the rock below. No, he's Irish again. What was Rembar digging for? There's nothing on this moon to dig for, mistress. Oh. I can't... let's start with etched. I don't want to miss that. Something is etched into the metal. Here we go. Right, back to translating. It's the end of a longer line of text. Right. Let's try and remember how we do this. Right, there's no as. There's no comes. So it's got to be we, which we haven't confirmed, and are. And we again. Ooh, this little backwards question mark we haven't seen before. I believe I remember the word we, mistress. Ding! Good. Good. We are blank. We, and this I think is like an act, is what we were using as a verb, like as an action modifier. But here it's all on its own. So maybe it just means do. Is that an option? Yeah, I want to do that. I want to say do. That's nice. When you can make a prediction, when you can like guess, when you can hypothesize what something is before it gives you the options, and then when you look at the options, one of them is the thing you already guessed, that's really affirming. And you don't always get the option in this to do that. I mean, I guess you do, but I guess you don't often have the opportunity to kind of really have a full understanding of what a word might be just by looking at it. And I think that's the first time. I know it's a very small word. In fact, it's just a little modifier. But because we'd spoken so much about what we thought this modifier did, it was really easy to. It was much easier to predict than, like, I don't know, predicting what this thing is, because I think recently I chatted about I don't know what this is actually doing. I think we looked at it in a few words and like I don't really understand. This is brand new. Okay, so this is sort of the sensible sentence would be we are what we do. Right? And I think that's the only thing that makes grammatical sense. I'm very confident about do. So I'm going to put what in. And also what kind of makes sense because it's kind of a type of word we haven't really come across. It's not a word like a noun or a verb or an adjective. It's what is a what as a thing in a sentence? Well, this is where my knowledge of grammar falls short. What kind of word is what? It's not always a question word. It's a certain, I don't know. We'll figure that. Anyway, I think that kind of makes sense maybe, and it's got the curly thing kind of at the end instead of the beginning, so it's sort of like a. In my head, this makes sense. I'm trying to like find words to describe why the word what would be sort of a backwards facing word compared to a word like, you know, human or action or something. It's sort of like it is kind of a questioning word in that it's not always used in a question form where you say, what is this? But it's kind of like connecting things in a questioning way. Like if my words make any sense to you, to me, the word what being a sort of backwardsy word makes sense. That's how my brain imagines it. So I'm going to go with that. We are what we do. Okay, and now let's do the other thing we can do with this. This is heavy equipment. Where did Rembar get all this from? From Elbereth, I suppose. Oh, here we go. From Elbereth, I suppose. I would suggest it comes from a mine or a quarry. I would believe it is itself old. Okay, indications of a pre-Empire site somewhere in Sculpture's Canyon. Okay, well, that's bloody massive. So we've got 3 absolutely massive areas we need to whittle down now. Get somewhere a little bit more. Let's get some information. All right, question. How long did all this take? I don't know, Micus. He used workers in shifts. A few weeks and then change. The work was hard. The air here is thin. Question. What was Rembar looking for? Why go to all this effort? He did not say. I was no longer here when he found it. Whatever it was. Right, let's go around the tent. I don't know why I feel the need to do... the corner of the tent. Oh, I think these are just directions. Question. I was going to say, I don't know why I feel the need to go the long way around. What was Rembar doing out here? Building his own little kingdom? Has he got a garrison under there? Right, is there any more inscriptions to look at? Doesn't look like it. Another mining cart. Of a similar age to the previous. This one's also inscribed. Symbols etched deep into the metal. Okay. Oh, we got like a... There's a few words in this one. Okay, we've got like a... Two little commas kissing each other. Moves. Blank. I think we thought that was a nouny thing. That's all I can think of. Were we not allowed to explore that further? So that's our intensifier, we think. Moves. With. Not with. Moves. Huh. It's interesting. So it's only done this a couple of times, but when we just doesn't allow us to work on a translation because we just haven't got enough. If you go inside, Micus, then you'll understand. Question. There's an opening somewhere. Around the back, Micus. We are at the back, aren't we? Oh, yeah, I see. What was I going to say? Hang on, before they start asking questions to each other. So, in terms of the translation, sometimes we're not allowed to actually make a go at translating something, and I wonder if that's just because. So here's how I think the translation sort of works as a kind of, not in a gaming mechanic sense, but in an in-game canonical lore sense. She has some base knowledge and intuition of things. Like she's a historian or something. Like she's well studied. She's not new to this game. So some of these symbols we've been seeing early on, using context and maybe things she's seen before, she can be like, I think this might be one of these three words or whatever. And that's how we've been operating so far. And then when she sees it a couple of more times in similar contexts, then she's like, okay, I'm pretty sure this word means whatever. Vessel. Sometimes we come across things like this and she just doesn't have enough context in her own knowledge and intuition to make a good guess at it. And in those cases, I think what we need to do is find other similar words and build those up first in our vocabulary before we can come back to these. And so we need to like gain more intuition from learning about other characters in like characters as part of the script and the language. I think that's what's happening. I think that when we come across inscriptions like this, we're at kind of the end of her knowledge and intuition. We just don't have enough information to make a guess at it. Like, it sort of seems weird. Okay, we can't go in here. Question. What does my kiss mean, Yazzie? Better. Better? You keep calling me it. What's up there? Reply. I'm not your better, Yazzie. I'm from Elboreth. You're from Iox, I think. Just as the other was. Is this the way in? I think it... I want to go all the way around the outside of this first. I want to get all the clues I can from outside the tent, and then maybe they'll be useful inside the tent. Question. How old are you, Yazzie? 34, mistress. I began working in the market when I was 8. Reply. 34. You could have been at the orphanage with me in Ori. An orphanage would have been luxury. My parents sold me to her. Yikes. Are your parents still alive? No. Okay. I'm just gonna, if you forgive me. I'm back. Not that you'd know that I was away. I wanted to blow my nose because I could. I haven't had a hay fever for many years, but something, whatever's in the air this spring, has given me just a little bit of a sniffle, and I was worried, because I got my face wrapped through a microphone. I didn't want to be that guy and annoy the hell out of you. Robots are stupid. That's the problem. They run well up to a point, and they throw themselves over a cliff. Throw themselves? Or are they pushed? It's about 50-50. If I'm honest. Right, let's look at this. This one isn't sealed. Excellent. He must have been shipping these. What is he shipping? Renmar was not interested in these pieces. The others collected them and shared them out to sell. Lift the lever with the dagger marked to the eagle and... Oh, I've looked at the wrong thing. Another dig. It's for storing equipment. What is all this? Must be a city under there. Right. For some reason, the thing I was... Stop looking over there. Look at this thing. Yeah. A poker should do it. There. Let's see now. Artifacts, just like on the other moon. Excellent. No. Nothing here. But these are good finds. What is it? What have we found? What have we found? What are they doing out here? Well, what did you find? Trays? What's in the trays? Little pieces. Pottery, metal, shards. Nothing significant, though surprising to find out here all the same. So it's like an archaeological dig, despite us assuming that there was nothing out here to find? Or that the moon had never had life on it? Let's look in the basket. Here's something. An aged nebula chart. I think it dates from the early Empire. I hardly recognise any of these river shapes. But that central swirl must be the Iox spiral. And there's something written inside the spiral. I love a thing written inside a thing. Ooh, a new character. This is one end of a blurry fragment of text. Look at that. What could that mean? Okay, how many things we got? Okay. I like this because we had this down as do, but it could also mean acts. Like it's related. It's an action modifier, as we thought. It's a clever game, this. I can't remember at what point I decided that was the action modifier. That was the verbulator. But the game clearly gave enough context for me to start to feel more and more confident about that and to finally kind of lock it in. It's like, I don't know, you start this game and it's just a load of nonsense, like a load of characters you haven't seen before. But through context and, some of her intuition, you only have a certain amount of options you can have for each thing, but it starts to become clearer and clearer what the text signifies, and it makes you feel smart. And I'm not saying I didn't have a part in this at all, but also it's the game being smart for allowing you to make those insights from what it presents you and how it presents it to you. Sorry, I'm waffling instead of doing stuff. Okay, so let's go with Palace of... That's a lot of glyphs, but I'm confident it says Palace. All right, we've had Palace for ages. Like, from when we had Withering Palace, which I think we kind of popped in, like, really early on, like episode 1 or 2. God, okay. So we know law and should for sure. Do, obviously not confirmed yet, but all but confirmed. So interesting though. So should is like time. We haven't really confirmed this time modifier, but it's sort of like that. Like time do, should like do in time. I don't know. This we thought was kind of a person-y thing. I don't think it's goddesses, because I think we have a word for goddesses, maybe. Princes, rivers flow. If it's less time and more about something flowing or moving, you know, in one direction, maybe rivers. It's got this stupid thing at the end. People should. Let's go for rivers for now. Palace of Rivers. Palace of Princes. Let's go with rivers because we haven't seen anything to do with rivers yet. It got this funky little thing. Although, wouldn't rivers have the watery glyph? Which doesn't necessarily mean water, because actually it's kind of, in one of the glyphs, it's related to place when it's got the little shark's fin on top of it. Or we think it does. But let's do that. Palace of Rivers. A name for Iox, perhaps? That would make sense. I suppose it's always been rich in water. Bum. I'd say that comes from the same source as the bell. The one we discovered in the Emperor's graveyard. This should help us locate its location. Chart is inked at a pre-Empire site. Okay, that's not... I see what this has done. It's shrunk this down. We found an artifact dating from before the Empire itself. A lost city, perhaps. 6 thinks the sundial and the garden moon might have come from here as well. I don't know enough to find the site yet. No, but we have narrowed it down, which is cool. I think this was bigger. This was more of a circle. It was more like that shape. Great work, everyone. At its busiest, there were 20 or 30 workers here. We dug from dawn till dusk. Sometimes Rembar watched, sometimes he disappeared. But Rembar never had a robot with him. Never. Robots cannot keep secrets, mistress. Every robot has a master. Even you? Certainly. Miari is my primary user, mistress, as you know. Yeah, that is alarming. He must have been certain there was something to find. But what? This moon's as barren as they come. He did not say, and I was no longer here when he found it. Whatever it was. Okay. 6, I'm just always concerned about. Like, we know he's a little spy. He's like bloody Microsoft. Mistress, is something the matter? I'm detecting certain elevated emotional markers. Yeah, am I being short with you? I'm sorry, 6. If it troubles you, I'll try to be more polite. She's kind of rotating of her own accord. I wanted to have a nice view of her looking out over that thing. Look, when she turns. What are you turning? What are you looking at? I want you to look over there. That's so funny. I can't make her stay looking out there. The sand may slide at any moment. All right. Okay, I think we've been all the way around the outside, so let's go inside. I'm amazed you're doing so well on this stony rock, 6. This way in. This is the way in. Marcus. Tied up from the outside. My scanners do not suggest there is anyone inside. As I told you, they all left. Slice the rope with a dagger? Don't mind if I do. The knot's old. Hard to... There. I will wait out here. Well, why? There's a large winch inside my kiss, which I do not intend to meet again. You will forgive me, I hope. Yeah, 6, you stay with Yahtzee. I don't want you to see stuff and then report it back to your master. I would be delighted to, mistress. Please do not do anything dangerous in there.
Darkness. An enormous pit had been cut into the rock below. It must have taken days to do. Weeks even.
What could be down here to be worth all this? Let's call it an episode there and then start exploring the tent in the next episode. As I say, I'm running a lot of these episodes. I'm going to be doing quite a lot to get ahead of the time when I won't be here. So I might run them a bit shorter than an hour, closer to 50 minutes. That might be useful to me, just to give me a little bit of margin. Hopefully okay to you. Gives you more time of the day to do stuff. So thank you very much for watching. Ooh, music has picked up. We'll pick this up next time and see what's in this tent and see what Rembar's led us and what clues we get from this, and maybe we'll get more hints as to the pre-Empire site we've already whittled down. See you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Blah blah blah. Press all the buttons under this video, do things, subscribe to all of your favorite channels, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.